Lillahi ta'ala. So we were going over these vocabulary terms. Mufradat. This is really mustalahat. So here's some words for you. Mustalah. Mustalah. That's jargon, terminology of any field. Mufradat means vocabulary. It's not jargon. Vocabulary. You definitely want to build your vocabulary. If Allah will, the Arabic words will stick. Have good intention, and you'll build up words, inshallah. You do need to speak. You do need to read. But we have seen people are able to speak Arabic in a year and not even be in an Arabic-speaking country. So we're at number 5 here. The author says, وَظَرْفُ الزَّمَانِ, the pocket of time. هو اسم الزمان الذي يقع فيه الحدث. هو اسم الزمان الذي يقع فيه الحدث. It is the name of the time in which the event occurs. It is the name of the time in which the event occurs. So look here. It says, Ismu Zaman, the name of the time. What is it? Ism? Grammatically, ism is what we would call noun. In ism, if you just want to give standard translation, you're going to say name. It's important for you to understand that an ism is a name, actually. The grammarians called the Arabic noun a name. And noun, it means name. The problem is, potential problem is that noun is not other than a jargon. One of the things that makes learning Arabic and other Islamic sciences easy or easier is that the terminologies are also standard words, like regular words. It's a nice blend. Huwasmu Zaman is the name of the time. I feel like when I'm telling you that a noun is a name, there's something that's still not as clear as I want it to be. Ismu Zaman, the name of a time. Nahu, such as Sumtu Yawm al-Khamis. Sumtu, I fasted. Sumtu Yawma al-Khamis, I fasted the day of Thursday, or I fasted Thursday. Sumtu Yawm al-Khamis. So Yawm is the Zarfu Zaman, the pocket of time. Day. Okay. So what this first sentence means, Huwasmu Zaman, what this means is the daytime, it has a name. Its name is Yawm. Or 24-hour span has a name, which is Yawm. So when they say the ism and the fi'l and the harf, they mean literally, with a very specialized definition, but practically literally a name and an act. Ismun wa fi'lun. When we hear those words, we think about them like jargons. Noun and verb and particle. Ismun wa fi'lun wa harf. A name, an act, and a particle. Yeah, it's like a tool. Particle's like a tool you're going to need for those names and acts to relate them together. هو اسم الزمان الذي يقع فيه الحدث. It is the name of the time in which the event occurs. Al-Hadath is the event, the created thing. Hadath here means fi'l. Hadath here means fi'l, al-fi'l. يقع فيه الفعل, يقع فيه الحدث, the act. And this is also very close to Aqidah, what you learned in Aqidah. And like the word hadath there can match those. The hadath here, it means something. Hadath in Aqidah means something, but you can match them. You can, except that you can use verbs for God. It won't be a hadath. You can use verbs for God. It won't be an event. It won't be a hadath. You use a fi'l for Allah, but you cannot use the hadath for Allah Ta'ala. Allah has a fi'l, not hadath. Let's do the i'rab for this sentence here. This word, i'rab. Let's do the i'rab for this sentence. That means here, parsing. That's one meaning for i'rab, parsing. So you'll see another meaning for it too when we come to it, inshallah. So we're going to do the i'rab for this sentence here. So, sumtu yawm al-khamis. Sumtu here, that comes from sama. Sumtu comes from sama with a pronoun. Here, sama. Sama. You say sama, that's past tense. And you say yasumu. Yasumu, that's present and future tense. That tells you, write this down, that tells you that the alif in sama is originally a waw. That tells you that the alif in sama is originally a waw. Originally the verb is sawama, sawama, but the waw turned into an alif and became sama. Yasumu. So then, when we attach the pronoun, the waw came back and then got omitted. Now I'm not going to go through all of that. That's sarf. I'm not going to take the time now to break all of that down. I'm just going to tell you. I'm telling you why we say sumtu with a dhamma. Because it's coming from this verb here, sama. So if it's coming from sama, why you say sumtu? Just like you say qala, but you say qultu. So it was sama, but then when we attach the pronoun, yani it was sama, but then the waw came back and the dhamma was there, and then we got rid of the waw and it got shortened down to sumtu. All of the talk that I just said now needs to be really said properly. I'm just trying to be brief. So that's why we're going to say here, sumtu. When we do the i'rab, we're going to say sama. We're going to go back to the form it was because we want to break it down piece by piece. So I want to explain sumtu. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say sama. This is fi'lun madin, past tense verb. Mabniyun ala fath. It's built with a fath. It's built like that. That fatha doesn't go away. Yani, it's like this fatha is here on this meme. This fatha on this meme here, sama. It's like there's a fatha on this meme, sumtu, but there's a sukoon there. It's like there's a fatha there. They just don't want to put it there for a reason. I'm going to keep saying that. And then it's going to come in its proper place for me to explain it, inshallah. So you need to see where the end of the verb is. Sumtu, yani, I want to break it down. Sama, fi'lun madin, past tense verb, mabniyun ala fath. It's built with a fath, muqaddar. But in this case, the fath is implied. منع من ظهوره كراهية توالي أربع متحركات فيما هو كالكلمة الواحدة. I'm not going to translate it, but I did last time. But I just said it for practice right now, because last time when I wanted to say it, I stumbled a little bit, and I never stumbled saying that sentence before that I remember. Wata. This ta, ضمير متصل. It's a connected pronoun. مبني على الضم. It's built with a dhamma. That dhamma there doesn't change. This dhamma here on the ta is not going to go anywhere. ضمير متصل. It's a suffixed pronoun. Suffixed pronoun. مبني على الضم. Built with a dhamma. في محل رفع. It's in the spot, the mahal of rafa'. Yani it's in the nominative slot. It's in the nominative slot. في محل رفع yani in the nominative slot. I'm going to put it that way, inshallah. Mahal here is going to be slot. Yawm. Yawma. Yawm is ظرف زمان, a pocket of time. Mansub. It's mansub. That's why it has fatha here. وعلامة نصبه فتحة. The sign of its nasb is a fatha. Why is mansub? Because this is a type of object. It's a type of verbal object. A verbal object. So Arabic has something called maf'ul. Maf'ul. Maf'ul means done, like you know. Now you might say, yeah, English has maf'ul, direct object. La. When I say maf'ul here, I don't mean maf'ul bihi, just maf'ul only. When you say maf'ul like this, just maf'ul only, in this way, this is broader than direct object. Or if you want, you can say, yeah, it's broader than direct object. So that's what I'm saying, verbal object. Yani, Arabic has several ways the verb can take an object. So sometimes the act falls upon a receiver. So that's going to be called maf'ulun bihi, done to it. That's direct object. Sometimes the act is going to fall upon a time. You can call that maf'ulun fihi, done in it. Or you can call it zarf zaman, pocket of time. It's a type of maf'ul. That's why it has fatha. It's like a maf'ul bihi. If it make it easier for you, it's a kind of maf'ul bihi, but yani, that's not really, you don't need bihi here. It's a kind of maf'ul. Maf'ul fihi, done in it. And there's other maf'uls. Maf'ul ma'ahu, done with it. Maf'ul li ajlihi, done for it. It's always going to be mansub. So yawm is maf'ulun fihi. I like that name, maf'ul fihi, but looks like more famous is zarf zaman. Zarf zaman, pocket of time. Zarf means envelope. An envelope of time. وهو مضاف. يوم وهو مضاف. And it's a mudaf. You learned what's mudaf last week. And it's a mudaf. That means there needs to be another part to complete the idafa. Al-Khamisi mudafun ilayhi. Majroor is in the genitive case. Because it's mudaf ilayhi, always in genitive case. Mudaf depends on what's in front of it, as you see right there. Mudaf itself depends on what affects it, like you see right now. Yani, what's affecting yawma? Why yawm has fatha? Where's the act? It's sama. Sumtu yawm al-khamis. You can't say sumtu zaydan though. It doesn't make sense. This is not the type of verb that takes a direct object. Maf'ul bihi. You can't say sumtu zaydan. It doesn't take maf'ul bihi, but you can say sumtu yawm al-khamis. This is maf'ul fihi. Al-khamisi majroor, يعني مضاف إليه مجرور. is the mudaf ilayhi, and it's in the genitive case. So that's the whole sentence there. If you have a question, feel free, please. وظرف المكان, and يعني a pocket of space or a pocket of place, if you want, yani the envelope of place. If we want to translate zarf the same way, though, both times I'm going to say pocket if you want to use pocket. I think pocket of time is nice, but pocket of place seems strange to me. هو اسم المكان الذي يقع فيه الحدث. It is the name of the place in which the event occurred. Nahu, such as جلست أمام الشيخ. I sat أمام الشيخ, in front of the sheikh. So I think that's all clear for you right there. ظرف المكان, يعني why these came in the same paragraph? Because it's like one thing. ظرف الزمان and ظرف المكان. Pocket of time and pocket of place. Both of those are مفعول فيه, done in it. نحو جلست أمام الشيخ. So we'll do the i'rab for the sentence here. جلست فعل ماض, past tense verb, مبني على فتح مقدر. It's built with an estimated فتحة. منع من ظهوره كراهية توالي 4 متحركات فيما هو كالكلمة الواحدة. والتاء ضمير متصل, and the ta is a suffixed pronoun, مبني على الضم, built with a ضم, في محل رفع, in the nominative slot. أمام الشيخ, أمام ظرف مكان or مفعول فيه, منصوب, accusative, وهو مضاف, and it's a مضاف, والشيخ مضاف إليه, and الشيخ is مضاف إليه, مجرور, genitive. That's it. If you have a question, feel free, please. He says here, وكل من ظرف الزمان والمكان لا يكون إلا منصوبا. And both the pocket of time and the pocket of place would not be but accusative. Why? Because it's a type of maf'ul. Because it's a verbal object, a type of verbal object, as opposed to a prepositional object. You have verbal objects, things that the verb makes mansoob here. Things that the verb makes mansoob, and you have prepositional objects, what the harf jar will make majroor. والحال أهلا وسهلا بكم جميعا. And the adverb al-hal. Hal means situation or circumstance. هو الاسم الذي يبين هيئة الذات وقت الفعل. It is the name that clarifies the form of some being, at the time of the act. It is the name that clarifies the form of some being at the time of the act. Nahu, such as جاء زيد راكبا. Zayd came riding. So Zayd is a being. ولا يكون إلا منصوبا. And it would not be but mansub. So let's parse this sentence. Let's do the i'rab for this sentence here. جاء فعل ماض مبني على فتح ظاهر. An appearing fath. So past tense verb built with a fath. زيد فاعل مرفوع. Zayd is the doer of the act of coming. جاء. Nominative or subjective, and its sign of being marfu' is dammatun zahira, an appearing damma. So ja'a Zaydun, Zayd came. This is a complete sentence. You could stop there and you won't leave your listener waiting. But there's an ambiguity there. Because how did he come? Upon what form? So you clarify. Rakiba, riding. Or a rider. Zayd came, a rider. Meaning riding. Hal, rakiban hal. Adverb. Mansub, yani halun mansub, in the state of nasb, accusative. Wa alamatu nasbihi fatha, fathatun zahira, and its sign of nasb is an appearing fatha. So I'm saying appearing fatha means there's going to be disappearing. I was saying estimated. Okay. If you have a question, go ahead. You said, could we use adverb of time because in English it could be a word or phrase that modifies the verb or adjective expressing relation to time or place? Yeah, but in Arabic also there could be a phrase that modifies the verb, but doesn't modify the verb actually. That's what they say in English. They say modify the verb. Modifies the doer, really. Modifies the doer. That's why they say, look at this definition here. I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually wasn't going to go into it, but since you said that, I'm going to mention here. هو الاسم الذي يبين هيئة الذات. How they defined it there. They say it clarifies the form of the being. They didn't say it describes the act. That's what modifies the verb means here. They didn't say it describes the act. They're saying it describes the actor. Why? Because I'll see if you can understand this, inshallah. If you don't understand it, then I'm not going to try to make you understand. Well, I'll say something. Because a verb could never be the subject of a sentence. A verb can never be the subject of a sentence. A verb can only be a predicate. Since a verb can only be a predicate, they say in Arabic, you can't describe the verb. Because, yani, if a verb could be a subject, then you could describe it. Like, because that's what the khabar is. Khabar, which is the predicate predicate is basically a description of the subject. So predicate is a description of a subject. If something can't be a subject, you can't describe it, is what they're saying. Now, a predicate is a description of the subject. And there's several ways you can describe. There's several ways you can describe. You can describe with a predicate. You can describe with a sifa, an adjective, an adjective. And you can describe with a hal. You can describe with a hal, an adverb. But what's being described is not the verb, is the doer of the verb. So if you say, Zayd came swiftly, in English, they're going to teach you in school. You described his coming. But in Arabic, they're going to teach you, you described how he came. You're describing him, not the coming. You're describing his form when he did the act. So I hope that's clear for you. I'm just going to say adverb, though, in translation. Yeah, same thing. The description is a modification. I mean, what people. Then number 7, what tamyiz? At tamyiz. So tamyiz means distinguishing. Like how you say the child now has tamyiz, he can pray and fast. This is tamyiz is a grammatical term. هو الاسم المبين من بهم من الذوات أو النسب. It is the name that clarifies what is ambiguous about some being or a relationship. What is ambiguous about some being or a relationship. This one, the students get it mixed up at first, or sometimes. What's the difference between these two? Hal and tamyiz. Hal clarifies a form. I did say while I was explaining to you, there's some ambiguity there. So, because he could have come in another form, this form or that form. Hal clarifies a form. Of a self, of a being. And tamyiz clarifies an ambiguity. Yani, you might say an inherent ambiguity. An inherent ambiguity. If you know some things, they are themselves inherently ambiguous. So you need to clarify them. Like numbers. So if somebody just said to you, I just bought 4, then you'd be like, oh yeah? You want to tell me about it? So it needs tamyiz, not hal. Tamyiz needs something to clarify the ambiguity, not the form. Or in nisab, or it clarifies a relationship, or it clarifies a perspective, a relationship or a perspective. Nisab here. Relationship or perspective. Relationship or perspective. Okay. Nahu, such as عندي رطل زيتا. I have a ritl. A ritl. You learn about ritl in Abu Shuja'. Ritl is a weight. A unit of weight for measurement. A weight. So I have a ritl. So if you stop there, this is going to be ambiguous. It's like saying I have a kilogram of what? Zayta, olive oil. عندي رطل زيتا. So notice how you're going to translate that. عندي, I have, ritlun, a ritl, whatever way you're going to translate it, doesn't matter really. Any weight you want to put there for example's sake. Zayta, you're going to say of such and such. Or you might say, depending on the word, in such and such. So that's how it's going to translate into English, into some sort of a phrase. Usually. But in Arabic, it's just, there's a way you can do it. Doesn't need a phrase. عندي رطل زيتا. I have a ritl of olive oil. So that clarifies the ambiguity. That clarifies the inherent ambiguity. وطاب محمد نفسا. And this طاب محمد. Taba means to be nice. Let's say. Being nice. So Taba Muhammadun. Muhammad was nice or is nice. Okay. You could stop there, but there's something ambiguous. So you might say, how so? How's he nice? Nafsa, himself. So it's like saying Muhammad is nice in self. So that's tamyiz. وَلَا يَكُونُ إِلَّا مَنْصُوبًا. And it would not be but accusative. Number 8 here. وَالْمَفْعُولُ لِأَجْلِهِ سكون on the G. وَالْمَفْعُولُ لِأَجْلِهِ. That means done for the sake of. Yani, the motivation. Al-maf'ulu li-ajlihi, it means the motivation. What motivated you to do something? هو الاسم الذي فعل الفعل لأجله. It is the name for which the act was done. It is why the act was done. This name, whatever this name is why the act is done. So it's called مفعول لأجله. ولا يكون إلا منصوبا. And it would not be but accusative. نحو, such as قمت إجلالا لزيد. قمت, I stood. قام فعل ماض, past tense verb, مبني على فتح مقدر. It's built with a fatha that disappeared, or it's estimated. والتاء ضمير متصل مبني على الضم. And the ta is a suffixed pronoun built with a dam. في محل رفع, in the nominative slot. إجلالا. Ijlal means honoring. Honoring. It's not a verb, that's a noun. This means to give honor, the granting of honor. The grant of honor. It's a noun. Jalal is greatness. Jalal is greatness. Ijlal, to give someone greatness. Yani the giving of greatness to someone. The giving of greatness to someone. That's a noun. Ijlalan li Zayd. So it's like to say, I stood out of respect for Zayd. If you want to capture this meaning of motivation then you're going to use some word in your translation like because of, or for the sake of, or out of. لزيد يعني لام حرف جر. This lam حرف جر, prepositional particle. مبني على كسر, it's built with a كسر. لا محل لها من الإعراب, it doesn't have any slot in the sentence. زيد, زيد is مجرور, accusative, genitive. وعلامة جره كسرة, and its sign of jar is a كسرة. It's called here اسم مجرور, اسم مجرور, a genitive noun because of the particle. طيب, we should stop there. Do you have any question? Could we understand يبين هيئة الذات it as clarification of the state of existence? La, it's going to be related to the verb in the sentence. Existence is too broad. Because I was a little confused when you used the term being. Yeah, being, I mean like I'm a being and you're a being. Says that, I could say self if you want, the form of a self. I mean, wafikum. Because that verb, it's actually what's making the hal mansub. So you're going to relate it back to that verb. So would the hal and the tamyiz be a type of maf'ul too? They don't usually count them as maf'ul. I'm glad you asked me that too. I wanted to say it. Those not usually counted as maf'ul. Now I don't remember if anybody said they are kind of maf'ul. Yeah, and also before I forget, going back to your question about the state of existence, don't forget also you have in Arabic something called kawnun. So you have something called kawn. Kawn is being, which is existence. You have kawnun, we're talking grammar here, language here, grammar. Kawnun am and kawnun khas. Kawn am, that means a general being. This means existence, just existence. Kawnun am, mere existence. Kawnun khas, particular existence. This is whatever verb you're dealing with that doesn't just mean existence. So you say Zaydun Fiddar. Zayd is in the house. Means what? Means he's existing. You don't even have to say a verb here. Zaydun Fiddar. Zaydun fil bayt. Zayd's in the house. You don't have to say existing in the house because it's kawn am. But if you want to mention any particular act, you have to say it because it's not mere existence. So you're going to say Zaydun na'imun fil bayt. Zayd's sleeping in the house. Zaydun yusalli fil bayt. Zayd's praying in the house. That's called kawnun khas. Particular existence. Or something like that. آمين وإياكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.